Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Dragon Man. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today, the wait is over because the Marvel Legends Dragon Man has arrived. Now, this was the first from the made to order concept, and all you had to do was pre-order it within a particular time frame. So if you didn't pre-order Dragon Man, you are now unfortunately a slave to the aftermarket. So I wish you good luck. Hopefully you can find a friend who ordered a double, but I for one could not miss out on adding this epic character to my Marvel Legends collection officially, as the last time we got Dragon Man was 19 years ago in the Toy Biz sister line called Fantastic Four Classics, and that Dragon Man went for a hefty price on the aftermarket, and I'm sure people will still be sentimental about that now, but there is no doubt in my mind this will be the superior Dragon Man, and he is here. I'm genuinely really excited to get him open, and the packaging itself is a tribute to that Fantastic Four Classics line, as the character is mostly associated with the Fantastic Four. So I will give you some backstory, but there we get the Fantastic Four up top, Dragon Man on the front. On the back, again, more sort of tributes to that old school packaging, 2 digital renders. We get Dragon Man with posable wings and tail, and then we also get a little roll that says, designed as a super powered android, Dragon Man was imbued with life to battle the Fantastic Four until he broke free of his creator's control. Dragon Man has been around for a long time, but now he is here in our collection. Let's get him open. Pow! And straight out the packaging, this is what you were greeted with. Dragon Man hibernating in his plastic clamshell. Honestly, this has got a nice heft to it as well. So let's take this apart. So his wings come in a separate clamshell. As you can see, you get 2 sets of wings as well. And then Dragon Man himself is in this clamshell with his bendy wire tail, his glasses, his book, and then a set of interchangeable hands. So let's take all of this out the plastic. So here we have Dragon Man out of the packaging with all of his accessories, including the 2 separate wings. So you get folded wings and open wings as well to give you those 2 different looks. And before we take a closer look at Dragon Man, let's talk about the character, as he is over 60 years old himself, as he debuted in the Fantastic Four 35 in 1964. And he is an android dragon created by a scientist, but then given life by the villain Diablo to do his bidding, and first went up against the Fantastic Four, and since then has been used and manipulated by tons of different villains within Marvel lore, and come up across tons of different heroes as well, including the X-Men, Inhumans, Avengers, and Spider-Man, but eventually found his home in recent times with the Fantastic Four once again, and Sue and Reed's daughter Valeria actually updated his mechanical android brain to make him super intelligent, and since then he has been a big part of the Future Foundation. But I think the Marvel Legends look has took massive inspiration from the Marvel Contest of Champions game, as he looks very similar to what you've seen in that game. In the comics, he's been green, grey, blue, even purple. So yeah, they've definitely put their own sort of spin on it, but I'm not mad at all. This is still clearly Dragon Man in my eyes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So let's move these all out the way. I'm going to take a look at all of this in a lot more detail, but I just wanted to get the tape measure out first and foremost before I start plugging in accessories, so you can see that he is over 10 inches in height. He is going to be very impressive and very imposing on the display. You're going to have to create some space. Let's take a closer look. Starting with the nicely detailed head sculpt. Now, I like that they've put a black wash over the face to bring out that additional sculpted detail, as he does have some unique facial features. His eyebrows are like these bones that stick all the way out, and they also create shadows for the eyes, but depending on the angle and how the light hits it, you occasionally get a nice glimpse glimpse of those red eyes with the yellow pupils. You can see his nostrils, his beak-like snout, his ears, really nice with that black wash to bring out the details. And then instead of an additional head to get a different expression, you've got an articulated jaw, which works really nicely. So we can go from neutral to angry really quickly. And again, that works no problem at all. Nicely painted teeth, nicely painted tongue, and that gives you some nice expression with the tilt and the swivel, of course. If I take the head off, it does show you you've got the disc and hinge. Now the hinge will go really far down for looking down poses, and you'll be able to get him looking straight, but then getting him in a nice flying pose will be awkward, as it does sort of get hindered there at the top. So if I put the head on, you can see you can look forward straight, no problem. You can bury the chin, no problem. But I wanted him in a flying pose. Getting him looking back any further is going to be difficult. So again, a little bit more clearance would have been nice for that, because he is a dragon after all. He can fly. But then another quick look at the chrome, the big chrome dome that houses that metal brain of his. He actually has sculpted veins on the side of his head all the way around here as well, which is just a very subtle detail, but nicely done. Honestly, really like the head sculpt. Before we plug in any wings and tails, let's just appreciate the additional sculpt and paint work throughout this body, because in hand, it is really nice. And as the light hits it, you get to see different elements of details on this figure. So let me zoom in on the torso first, so you can see all that musculature sculpted in with the different shades of purple on there as well. And it sort of transitions onto the side, into the chainmail scales sculpted on there. Honestly, really, really nice work. Same at the top there on the shoulder. You get the sculpted chainmail scales on the shoulder, on the butterfly joints, on the top of the arm, and they go all the way down the arms. Then on the forearms, you actually get additional like fins sculpted on there as well, all the way to the hands that have the black nails on as well. So you get two gripping hands. But yeah, all of this additional detail doesn't hinder any of the articulation. You can sort of see the different layers and textures on him as well, even all the way down on the legs as well, different shades of purple in there, to his toes, which again, you've got the toenails and you've got the pivot on the feet. So you actually have a foot hinge there for your Dragon Man. And then again, if I spin it around onto the back, nothing is plugged in yet. So that's where his tail goes. That's where his wings go. But you still have that sculpted, textured detail throughout the figure. Honestly, really, really nicely done. I'm going to plug everything in a moment. But yeah, I just wanted to take a look at all of that detail. You've got his maroon trunks. That's literally it. That is all he is wearing. And then otherwise, it is Dragon Man. But honestly, really good. I've already mentioned out of the box, he comes with a set of grabby hands, a little bit more expressive, if you will. And they've got the black nails on. And again, really nice with the additional sculpted paint and details. Honestly, everything is so seamless. He's got the double jointed pinless elbows, first and foremost, and then the double jointed pinless knees as well. And everything really does move really well. Look how the size of him, and he can kick his own butt. You've got ankle pivot and rocker. You've got the butterfly joints. Look at the butterfly joint here. Like, look at that. Really, really good. He moves better than some regular Marvel Legends. You're going to be very impressed. But yeah, there's the gripping hands. We also get a set of fisted hands. Now, I don't know anyone who would actually want to get into a fight with Dragon Man, as he is very imposing. But yeah, you do have those additional fisted hands as well. And before we continue, just another look at articulation. I wanted to show you that his arms will go up to 90, no problem at all. And remember, all the swivel and articulation is at this diaphragm ball joint there. So that's where your swivel is going to be. Also where your tilt is as well, of course. And then also, let me move his arms to the side and then show off he can go back that much and forward that much. So a little bit limited on the back and forth, but there's definitely movement there for sure. The legs will go forward. Not bad at all, like nearly to 90. I've already showed you the double jointed knees, swivel at the top of the torso. You've got the toe pivot, ankle pivot rocker. Honestly, really nice range for such a big, big character. But now that's all out the way, let's attach everything to the back. So here we have his 10-inch tail. Well, at least I think it's 10 inches, as it was as tall as him in the box. And yeah, look at that. It's longer than 10 inches to the top of the point. Look at that. Crazy, massive, thick tail that hopefully has a lot of bend to it. So this is the first time me doing this, and yeah, nice thick bend, and it will hold its shape as well, it seems. So yeah, you can see the sort of little dots in there to show the rubber or whatever. But yeah, again, nice sculpt work on it as well, with some additional paint with the different shades of purple. But this will add for a nice kickstand, but also to help with some poses. Let's plug it in. So there we have the ball joint at the back. Deep breath, Dragon Man is going in. Give it a squeeze. You should probably heat this up first, but there you go, plugged in. And it actually looks pretty seamless on the back there as well, as it does tuck in a little bit. So there you go. Now we have Dragon Man's tail sticking out of his trunks. And again, it's on the ball joint as you've seen. So lots of rotation there. Really nice there. And again, as I said, you can use it as a bit of a kickstand if you need to, but he's so heavy, you can sort of just pose it any way you want. But of course, the wings are going to be in the way in a moment, but still, it gives him a bit of character. He's a dragon. As you know, Dragon Man has 2 sets of wings. So these are the folded wings, which are just all purple. Now, as you can see, there is some nice sculpted detail and texturing on this. You can sort of see the bones there, and then it's a bit more black up top, so there's some nice shading. It sort of looks leathery in texture, which I think is the point. And then if I spin it around here as well, you can see more detail of those bones with the darkness all up within the creases. So yeah, there is some nice details on these wings, but we also get a set of open wings, and unlike the other ones, these have that additional pop of colour, which is like a burnt orange, a sort of flesh tone within the actual wings. They still have that leathery texture to them as well, with the veins to them. The bones are painted in the purple, so these will definitely pop a little bit more against the body of Dragon Man. They're heavily influenced via his appearance on Contest of Champions, however, but they're not inaccurate to the comics either, as Dragon Man has genuinely been different colours during different times within his history. So this will genuinely be down to personal preference. So you get the open wings, but if I bring in a set of the other one or a pair of the other ones, you can sort of see the difference there. So some people are saying that these ones should have also had the orange in here, which I agree with. That would have looked nice, but these are not inaccurate at all. These are definitely accurate to certain comic book pages. You got the spikes up top as well. So yeah, it is dealer's choice, but it's nice to have options. So let's plug in the open wings, as I never showed off the back of them. So they should plug in like so, and you can see the back of them is actually just straight up purple rather than the orange. So again, let's plug that one into here. You can hear it pop in. There's got a nice hinge to it, and it is simple as that. Let's spin him round. Would you look at that big brute? He cuts a mean silhouette, and I do actually like the additional pop of colour on these open wings, as it does show off the Dragon Man silhouette that little bit more. But how big is he now because of the wingspan? So here's the tape measure. So roughly, you're looking at about 17.5 inches across with wingspan. So you're going to have to start clearing some space on your display to fit in Dragon Man, because he looks very imposing. So let me spin this around so you can get a look from the back as well. So no additional orange on the back. It is just all purple, as you can see. And in regards to actual articulation, these have the ratchet, so they will ratchet up and ratchet down, so you can sort of pose them like so. There's also the hinge, so they will go out too. So if you wanted to fold them in for some reason, you could fold them in like so, but again, the ratchet's there. So there's no additional articulation on the actual wings themselves. These are all one piece. The articulation is at the hinge, with the hinge and the ratchet. Then of course we have the folded up wing look, which looks really nice as well. This silhouette reminds me more of a gargoyle. I want to call him Goliath, and that wingspan will be less, of course. So now you're looking at about 8 inches across rather than the 17 plus. So it may fall down to how much space you have on your shelf that will influence your wing display decision. But these definitely look like a folded up version of these, and that's why you don't see that pop of colour. So it's nice to have the options. But that isn't all. We've got more, as he comes with a book and a pair of glasses. Now, I know it's the oldest movie trope, but the character that wears glasses is the nerdy one, is the brainy one. But on this occasion, the glasses definitely make him smarter, don't they, for some reason? So they just sort of sit on the bridge of his nose. So I'm not sure if there's a particular place they sort of snap in. Definitely got to be careful with them. But I've sort of pushed them in to the actual nose there. I take them off. You can sort of see a little tiny sculpted gap, and I'm squeezing them into place, and sometimes they stay, and honestly sometimes they don't. So I do think it just takes a little bit of finesse to get them in the right position, and then they seem to stay okay. So yeah, you're definitely going to be wary of these ones. The carpet monster's going to want them, but if you're going to make it work, it does look really good. And his last accessory could be a little clue, could be a hint towards what the future holds for Marvel Legends, because it is the Future Foundation logo. Now currently in the comics, Dragon Man is a part of the Future Foundation. So if you're going to display your smart Dragon Man, he's definitely in his good guy era. But this is just the same old book we've got before in the Marvel Legends line. It's come with other characters like Beast. He can hold it and grip it in his hand, no problem at all, because they are so bloody big. You just sort of pry it in between the fingers and he will grip that no problem. On the inside, it does have a bit of sculpted detail, but no additional writing. Again, it's the same book that we have seen before with Doom and Beast, etc. But he will hold it nicely. And again, could be a clue. I would like some Future Foundation figures. And there we have a wider look of Dragon Man with the glasses reading the book. Now, just remember, when you attach the wings and the tail, they do add that additional weight to the back. So it's all about balance. Use that tail as a kickstand and he will stand up straight, no problem at all. But again, it's all about finesse with this one, as he's such a chunky boy. But honestly, he looks so good. If you want him in good guy mode, put the glasses on. He's part of the Future Foundation, not a problem. You want him in bad guy mode, take away the book, take away the glasses, open up that jaw, and he can battle the Avengers, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, whoever you want. Just have one of your bad guys manipulating his brain. Let's move into some comparisons then, and I wanted to start with this version of the Fantastic Four in their darker blue Dan Slott looks. Not because the design is more accurate to Dragon Man, it's because it's the only version of Valeria we have in the Legends line, and we know she is the reason Dragon Man is now super intelligent. So I do hope in the future we get some Future Foundations version of the Fantastic Four. I thought we would by now, to be fair, to be released alongside Dragon Man, but so far, no sign of them. That'd be a good idea. Here we have the most classic looking version of the Fantastic Four we have in our Legends collection so far, the ones on the retro card with the addition of She-Hulk. I apologise if the white element of their costumes is fading into my background. I just once again wanted to give you a look at the scale here, because Dragon Man makes the Thing and She-Hulk look tiny, and we know they are not otherwise. And a little comic tidbit here, there was a point in the comics where She-Hulk and Dragon Man were battling, and to stop the fight she had to try and seduce Dragon Man. True story. Another good comparison for scale, and these two have definitely fought in the comics as well. We have Dragon Man and the Maximum Hulk, and again, Dragon Man bigger. Here we have some of our recent Savage Land editions with Kazar, Zabu, Shana, and Rogue. Another winged character I recently reviewed was Sauron from the Savage Land box set, and I wanted to compare their wingspan, if you will, because Sauron looked massive in comparison to regular Marvel Legends, but he looks like a regular legend in comparison to Dragon Man. So let's put these like back to back for a second so we can see, and their wingspans are pretty close, to be fair, all things considered, but Dragon Man is still much more imposing than Sauron, but it's still a good comparison. Look at them. Very prehistoric. Here we have the Build-A-Figure version of the Juggernaut, and I only bring him in to ask the question, do we think that new deluxe Juggernaut from the Gameverse series will be as imposing as this Dragon Man? It'll be interesting to find out. And here we have a selection of X-Men characters. I think most of these are the X-Men 97 versions, but they're fair game for a comic display. And then we've got my boy Beast in the background. Where was his X-Men 97 card? Here we have a selection of comparisons I had around me. We've got Black Widow, Maximum Series Spider-Man, Ultimate Captain America, and Warbird Miss Marvel. He has definitely went up against Peter Parker Spider-Man and Ben Reilly Spider-Man in the comics. You will find plenty of comic panels with Spider-Man and Dragon Man battling. The same about Captain America too. As always, let's wrap up with some of the Who crew. We've got Frogman and Tigra, and of course last but never least, we've got Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. Poor Hank. I think his saxophone is still broke. Anyway, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends made to order Dragon Man. And at least speaking for myself, I think I'm preferring this made to order format, as you don't have to worry about anybody else. You don't have to worry about it hitting particular targets to create value. It's simple. You want it, you pre-order it, you get it. So if you have pre-ordered Dragon Man, start clearing that space on the display, as he is a big chunky boy and he's going to take up some real estate. But I promise you, you will be impressed when he arrives at your door. I am very happy with this guy. He has to be in the conversation for one of the better, if not one of the best, Marvel Legends full stop period. He moves really well with the articulation considering how big he is. I like that you get the different looks as well. I know there's no actual articulation within the wings as such, but I like the aesthetic approach. He's going to look great on the shelf. I like that you get the glasses and the book as well. I know it's a little detail, but it does represent a more modern era, a more the wiser, cleverer, intelligent Dragon Man. But if you want him as a straight up villain on your shelf, that's absolutely fair game as well. He has been a villain for most of his time in the comics, although it was just via manipulation of villains taking advantage of his pea-brain. But he is here now for your display, to display him any way you want. So I'm very excited to see what the community do and how they integrate him into their displays. You're going to need a very strong flight stand, but if you can get him flying in your display, he's going to look impressive, that's for sure. So let me know your plans in the comments below. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? How are you going to display him? And as always, if you like Marvel Legends, guess what? You're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlists, but most importantly, please, please, please hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell. Don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much, much appreciated. Honestly, I have tons of members only content, so get involved on whatever level you want, and there is plenty to get involved with. Support the channel beyond the channel. I tell you that all the time. It's so simple. Follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on X at Dan Who Reviews, and I will of course see you on the next one.